The 602nd edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. You can win up to 325 times your entry with their brand new Pick 8. Sign up today with promo code MMA SGPN to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer of up to $250 in bonus cash. That's UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code MMA SGPN. And we're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get the best data-driven props and picks with Rhythm. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
Howdy ho, Degenerinos. Welcome to episode 602 of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. I'm too close to the camera. Let's move back. This one's dedicated to everyone who subscribes to our channel on YouTube. If you want an episode dedicated to you, you could be part of one of those 650 people that this episode is dedicated to as well. So make sure you subscribe. As my co-host said, anytime we mention at the top of the show, our subscriptions go way up. So we're going to keep doing it. Maybe once we hit 1,000 subscribers, we'll stop mentioning it. All right. So that's even more of a motivation for you people to subscribe. Then you don't have to hear me talking about it. Who am I, you might wonder? I am your almighty supreme leader, Jeff Jocks Fox. No UFC this week, but we don't take weeks off. The UFC may take weeks off. We don't. We are always in your ears 5 days a week and your eye holes 5 days a week with MMA action. Well, MMA picks. Today we're going back to France. We're covering Aries Fighting Championship. We covered them once before on a full episode. I think we've dipped our toes in the that water a few times in the past as well for a fight here or there. But we're doing a full fight card again today because my co-host knows about these things. He's a preeminent is the word I'm trying to say. He's a preeminent. I'm not going to say it again because I can't, apparently. He's really good at picking MMA, regional MMA fights. How's that sound? It's one only Daniel Gumby Vreeland. How'd you do with Aries last time? I don't remember, of course.
I couldn't remember. That was a minute ago. They've run events kind of infrequently now, which is kind of a bummer. We were talking a little bit off air about them trying to lock people into contracts and not letting them go for the UFC or Bellators or some of the bigger promotions. And that may be the reason they're having trouble filling their cards. As you'll see today, as of this recording, we're about 8 days out from the actual event. We have no odds for any of these fights. We have 3 fighters fighting who are 0-0 on their career. And only, did I say only 5 fights? There's only 5 fights on the fight card, which is kind of a bummer. It's a little bit of a letdown. But with that being said, one of the fighters I had already seen fight. That's right. I had already seen an 0-0 fighter fight. And the other 2 I was able to get my eyeballs on. So we've got real breakdowns for you of basically amateur fights.
All right, now you've done such a great job selling this event, and therefore this
if you can make money on it, we will watch it, right? Like that's the point.
That's what I was going to say. Why should people continue with this episode, Gummy? Because they're going to make money on it. Is that you promised that with us?
That's it. That's all we try to do.
And Aries, we can get odds normally.
The Bet Onlines of the world, Betway sometimes has them. Yeah, like those guys are usually in there.
So basically just offshore ones though, right?
Yeah, usually offshore.
Yeah. All right, cool. So that is what we're covering today, ladies and gentlemen. Aries FC 23. We got another regional event tomorrow, and then that'll bring you into your weekend of MMA action. Before we get to all that, make sure you check out the latest episode of SGP Stories. It's out on Patreon, and the guys do a forensic files style deep dive on the Bobby Petrino motorcycle accident, the cost of his job. So make sure you subscribe or not subscribe. Yeah, go to Patreon and subscribe to that. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. And also, please make sure to check out the WNBA Gambling Podcast, as Terrell and Scott have started out red hot with their locks. So check out that on YouTube and the podcatcher of your choice. All right, now we're headed to Aries Fighting Championship in Aubervilliers, France. July the 11th. So we're about, like as Gumby said, about 8 days out from that event. With this being a holiday weekend in the United States of America, there's not as many events running this weekend. So this is one of our weeks where we're going to do some extra ones for the following week, because there's plenty to choose from there. So, as I said, Aubervilliers, France, only 5 fights as of this recording. This is a Thursday event, which is good. There's another positive. There's another reason to watch our episode and to take some interest in this here event. Thursday, July the 11th, 2 p.m. Eastern, Thursday afternoon MMA action. What more could you want? UFC Fight Pass, even better. You have to be searching everywhere for it. And it's in the Aries Studio. So Aries Studio 3. So basically it's their UFC Apex of sorts. And top of the card, we have a title fight, which is good to see. It is for the AFC vacant light heavyweight championship. Gumby, why is it vacant? I'm really putting you on the spot here.
Aries has never had a light heavyweight champion.
No. There you go. That's why it's vacant. So that is the top of the card. We're going to start you off with the 5th fight on the card. Jordan Nandor from France, Thomas Cleret from France. Both these men are 0-0. Cleret 0-0. That's all the info I have on him. I couldn't find anything else when I was searching online. Nandor 0-0, 1-0 as a amateur with a knockout TKO win in his one lone amateur fight. How is Gumby going to find anything on these people? Let's find out. Gumby.
So I did watch Nandor's lone Ami fight. Not bad for a 0-0 light heavyweight. Like a lot better than you might imagine. And then Cleret is a Wushu Sanda specialist. So you can find some of his Wushu Sanda stuff. It also looks like, maybe I just don't know what Sanda is all that well. Because I always thought that was like, it was like Chinese Taekwondo. Is that like,
yeah.
That roughly that, right? Like,
yeah.
But it does appear that like some of his fights have like some throws in them. So either Sanda has throws and I don't know enough about Sanda, or it was also like Sambo. Like he maybe did some Sambo on the side, because it like kind of looked like Sambo when he was doing it. So I've seen videos of him doing both of those things. So my breakdown basically of Nandor is, goes along with being a tall heavyweight, because he is rather tall and heavyweight. Not real great head movement. When he's coming forward, he hits really hard, as you might imagine from a heavyweight, but most of the throws come from his shoulders and return to his shoulders, leaving his head like really open for counters. His takedown defense, right in the very first round of that first fight he was taken down real easily. The guy moved right to mount with almost no problem. And all those kind of things like kind of are sticking points for a guy who's this early, because like you would like to see something a little bit more well-rounded than just being able to throw like a 1 and 2 and not protect your face. Cleret, because of his pedigree, I think will probably come in as a slight favorite, despite the fact they're both 0-0. Because he's got that like, a world class, well, I don't know if it's even world class, high level,
some form of fighting.
Yeah, he looks like he comes from like a background of amateur competition. Like whereas Nandor looks like a guy who's probably found a gym somewhere in France and trained really hard for a while, and then took one Ami fight and now is ready for the pros. Cleret is a guy who looks like he's really honed his skills by like fighting a whole bunch of different styles and in different competitions and stuff like that. There's probably some accolades there that I missed, but like you can tell this is a guy who is perfecting his craft or perfecting the different arts and trying to put them together. Now, of course, the big question is, how does he put them together, whether that looks good or not? But I will tell you, the parts individually look a lot better than Nandor in just about every way. Like, I like how fast his striking is. He throws a low leg kick that's really strong. It's knocked people off their feet. And then the other thing I really like is I saw him do some head and arm throws. That was the competition. I couldn't tell what the hell I was watching. It's either Sanda has throws or he was doing some Sambo. And it looked really good when he was doing it. And when you consider the fact that Nandor looked really bad against the takedowns, we're talking about a guy who's a little bit faster and who has some throws versus a guy who's got really bad takedown defense that doesn't protect his face. So it wouldn't surprise me if Nandor came forward and landed a big bomb, but I do think Cleret is better just about everywhere. Cleret. Should I say Cleret?
It's Cleret.
Cleret. Yeah, you're the French expert up in Canada. So yeah, I'll take Cleret here, probably a slight favorite.
All right. Well, we'll put him at 120. How's that sound?
That's what I said. 120.
Well, that's where I got that from. I was looking up Sanda. That's why I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, and you're trying to figure out if they do throws?
Exactly. Full contact kickboxing, which includes close range and rapid successive punches and kicks, which is what you were talking about. He's a very fast puncher, striker. It also has wrestling, takedowns, throws, sweeps, kick catches, and so some competitions, elbows and knee strikes. So yes.
Okay, so that's basically MMA.
MMA, yeah, pretty much.
It's basically Russian Sambo, is what, because I looked at it and I was like, this looks like Russian Sambo. And then when you describe it, I mean, I guess there's probably some distinction, but it looked a lot like Russian Sambo to the untrained eye.
One person out there is getting mad at you right now, probably.
Oh, I know. Please, if I'm saying this from a genuine position. If that's true, please tell me in the comments. Like, I would really like to know what the difference is, because I watch jiu-jitsu competitions once in a while. I dabble occasionally in boxing or kickboxing, but like, I'm an MMA guy through and through. So if you could tell me the difference between those arts, I'd love to know them.
Yeah, someone in the Discord was asking if we're going to do one, and I'm like, one championship. I'm like, there's
two MMA fights.
There's just not enough MMA fights on it. So
I'll take Ty Rotolo by submission at negative 12,000.
Yeah, that's the other problem, right? They have a lot of squash matches,
particularly in their grappling divisions.
Yeah, because people have asked, more than one person has asked about one. We have covered it before. We will cover it when it's MMA heavy. But yeah, when it's a whole bunch of different disciplines.
Give me a Rainier DeRieder fight, and I'll do some more one.
Yeah, when there's a bunch of too many other disciplines. We're trying to figure out Sanda over here, for crying out loud. There's a bunch of other disciplines, fun to watch, I'm sure, but it's we're by no means experts on that, so that's what I'm trying to spit out. All right, let's move to the next fight. This one's going up a weight class to heavyweight. Khetag Sabeev from France versus Benjamin Šehić. I'm assuming it's the itch because he's from Bosnia and Herzegovina. All right, let's break down this one for you. Šehić is the Dragon of Bosnia. He's 6-4, 1 knockout, 5 submissions, so he's finished everyone. He's been knocked out 3 times himself. He's 3-2 in Aries. He's gone 2-2 over his last 4, 2-4 over his last 6. Won his last fight via knockout, and he's 1-0 as a pro grappler. Sabeev 0-0. Another 0-0 guy. 2-0 as an amateur, though. He won. He has not fought since, or he hasn't had a recorded fight at the very least since January 2022. He won that via knockout. That was for the World Junior Championship. The IMMAF. MAF, yeah. So he won the junior championship because he was juniors between 18 and 20, I believe, when I looked it up in age. So he's a young guy. He won the world championship there, so that's impressive. Used to fight at light heavyweight, and I couldn't find his exact age, but based on the age ranges that you have to be to fight junior, he's between 7 to 9 years younger than Šehić. Šehić is in his late 20s at this point, and that's all I got.
Yeah. So I think I'll say pick him here because one's got 10 pro fights and one's a junior IMMAF fighter. And if it was 10 pro fights and he was 2-8, I'd give it straight up. Sabeev is the favorite, but in this case, Sabeev, I think, has got to come in at pick 'em odds. And I'm going to take him here. Here's why. If you watch his fights for IMMAF, first of all, he's got good takedowns, which you might imagine from a guy named Khetag Sabeev. And then on top of that, he works really well in the clinch. I really like his clinch knees, the way he pulls the face down to the knee. He too, like I was talking about with Cleret before, throws a really nice low leg kick. He likes to land his just above the Achilles, like on the calf muscle, and has looked really good doing so. Šehić, I watched. I think actually I might have watched every single fight that's available for him because I couldn't stop watching just because it's mesmerizing. The guy's 6 foot. He's 6'9", right?
Super tall. Yep.
All he does is like Imanari roll and guard pull. It's one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen. He's one of the worst strikers I've seen in my whole life. All he wants to do is roll submissions off of his back, and like his takedowns are garbage. His striking is like think about Trevor Peake's least fundamental strike. It's that but slow and less accurate. It's like he looks like. Have you seen Happy Gilmore?
Of course.
Okay, he looks
a movie I have seen.
He throws punches like Mr. Larson chasing down the gold jacket at the end of the movie. Yep. That's how he throws punches. And actually, like he's the size of Mr. Larson, so it's even better. But I can't pick him in this fight. He's going up against a Russian guy who, as long as he doesn't choose to shoot the takedown, will just piece him up from the.
Yeah, I accidentally said he was from France. Similar flags, but no, he's from Russia, as you probably could guess by the name as well. Their stripes are horizontal. France's stripes are vertical. There you go. Anyhow, Sabeev is the pick, and hopefully, maybe not even pick him. Maybe we can get him at dog odds. Let's try to hope that into existence. All right, speaking of dogs, let's tell you about Underdog Fantasy. Pick 8 is now live on Underdog Fantasy. Create entries with up to 8 picks, and Underdog will automatically double flex your entries, so you can miss up to 2 picks and still win your entry. You won't need it, though, because all you people are perfect out there, but just in case, maybe you accidentally made a pick in error. With more picks to make and extra ways to win, the excitement is higher than ever. The best part, you can win up to 325 times your original amount. You can now use specials and boosts on all flex entries. Do you have a play for us for either Wednesday, Thursday, Gumby, or do you want me to make one?
They should get this before Chris Sale takes the mound against the Giants. He's good for 10 strikeouts anytime he pitches. So take the higher than on his strikeouts. You could also go higher than on his first inning strikeouts. I told you higher than on Reynaldo Lopez's first inning strikeouts last time. Did you see how many first inning strikeouts my man had? He struck out the side in the first. Fantastic. Not a big deal. So yeah, Chris Sale, higher than strikeouts any way you want it.
He gets 10 every start for real. Chris Sale.
I mean, he's right now. He's the odds-on favorite, or actually, I take that back. He's second behind Zach Wheeler for the Cy Young right now.
Yeah, I got Zach Wheeler in fantasy, so I know that. But fantastic! There you go. So listen to Gumby and don't miss out on your chance to play Pick 8 before it's gone. Sign up with our promo code MMASGPN to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. OnDogFantasy.com promo code MMASGPN and. Let's not forget about that Circa Sports is back with Circa Survivor and Circa Millions, giving away $16 million in guaranteed prizes. Of course, Circa contests have no rake. Circa Millions is you pick 5 NFL teams against the spread each week and compete for $6 million, or you can survive the NFL gauntlet to claim the $10 million prize. Sign up in person at Circa Sports between now and September 7th and use a proxy to play from anywhere. We even have a deal with footballcontestproxy.com to save you $50 with promo code SGP. Don't have a trip booked for Las Vegas yet before football? Ultimate Contest Weekend is a great time to go out, hang out with our bosses, Ryan and Sean, and enjoy some of the open bar events at the greatest sports book in the world, August 22nd through the 24th. Tell them that Gumby and Chalk sent you and that they're the greatest hosts of all time, obviously. All right. And you won't have to lie. Both those things are true. All right, we're going to third from the top. Boule Godogo. That's a good name. He is from the Democratic Republic of Congo. So we're getting fighters from all over the place here. He's fighting Mohamed Soumah. He is from France. This is a lightweights, 3 5-minute rounds. Soumah is 1-2. Is not a Soumah. 1-2 with 1 knockout. He's been submitted twice. He hosts his rounds. You like that one? Good.
Kindergarten Cop.
Yeah, I didn't see the movie, but obviously I know the line. 0-1 in Aries. Loss over his last 3. Got submitted in his last fight. Don't get at me, people, in the Discord or the comments, because I haven't seen Kindergarten Cop. There can't be Kindergarten Cop stands out there, can there? Soumah has not won since June 2023, excuse me. Not June 23rd. Used to fight at welterweight 0-1 as a pro kickboxer, 5 inches taller than Godogo. Godogo is 3-0 with 2 knockouts. This is his debut. Used to fight at featherweight. I assume he is the favorite here.
Yeah, I'm going to say Godogo, probably negative 350. You see a guy who's 3-0 versus a regional guy at 1-2. You got to assume he's going to be a massive favorite. I am going to tell you that if that line comes in at that price, don't bet it. I personally am going to pick Godogo here just because of the weaknesses that Soumah has. So Soumah comes from a Muay Thai background. He's a good kickboxer. I really like what I've seen out of him in his pure Muay Thai fights. But obviously the problem is chaining that together with wrestling defense hasn't gone particularly well for him. And in 2 facets, it's gone badly for him in that he's given up takedowns, but it's also gone badly for him in that, like, he doesn't seem to trust his hands because he's so worried about the takedowns. So, like, Soumah isn't able to put it all together. But the reason I'm going to tell you not to bet it is because he's infinitely a better striker than Godogo. And Godogo leaves his head open all the time. You know, like, he's one of those guys who is definitely going to throw 3 or 4 punches before he shoots a takedown. He's not just going to sprint across the cage and shoot a big double. I mean, like, he's got a good double. Like, I would not be surprised if he came from the Congolese tradition of wrestling, because, like, he very clearly has been wrestling for a long time. He's got all of the pieces, but he's not the type of fighter who is going to sprint across the cage and just jump to that takedown right away. He's going to throw 3 or 4 punches. He's going to feel it out. Then he's going to shoot the takedown. Because of the way he doesn't defend himself when he's throwing that 1-2 or when he's throwing a hook, I could totally see Soumah cracking him. And then you're out on a negative 350 bet, or you're going to have your parlay busted or whatever that is. I'm going to ultimately say I don't think that's going to happen, but I don't feel negative 350 confident that Godogo avoids it. So I'll take Godogo. I say he out wrestles him. I'll say he gets to the legs. Maybe he even gets a TKO finish. But I will say, like if it comes in that high, stay away. And as far as like where I'd be comfortable with it at, if it came in around negative 200, I might start being interested in it. It's definitely in the ones I'd be interested, but up in the 3s, which is where I think he'll be, stay away from that one.
All right. He's picking Godogo with plenty of caveats, plenty of asterisks, and plenty of hedging. He's hedging Gumby this week. All right. We're going to the co-main event. Konmon, we should call him, but Konmon, Day or Die. France, DEH would be Die, I think.
I don't think it's a French. I don't think it's a French pronunciation.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah, he's from France, but I don't think his roots are French. Probably right. He's
same with Mohamed Soumah. I'm pretty sure his roots are also not French in origin.
Yeah.
That's not a French
name. Conman Die versus Alessandro Capone. He is from Italy. 3 5-minute rounds at, what did I say, 145? Yeah, 145 pounds. Capone is Il Capo. He's really leaning into this gangster last name of his. He's 5-5, 2 knockouts, 1 submission. He's been knocked out once, submitted once. This is his Aries debut. He's won 2 of 3 and only 3 of his last 7. He did lose his last fight. Used to fight at lightweight and welterweight. Day, DEH is 15-11, 3 knockouts, 4 submissions. He's been knocked out 3 times, submitted 3 times. This is his Aries debut as well. Loss over his last 3, 4-3 over his last 7. Lost his last fight via submission. 2-5 in Cage Warriors, so he has fought at high levels before. Not very successfully, but he showed up. Used to fight at lightweight and welterweight. Was a regional champion in 2011 pro MMA debut. He has more fights than everybody else on this card combined. I'm just doing the math quickly, but yes, he does. Way more than everybody else combined.
I'm going to say that Day will be, I think it's Day, by the way. I think Day is going to be a pretty big favorite. Like you said, the experience, the fact that Capone's only 5-5. I think you'll see him probably in the high negative 200s, negative 275, maybe negative 250. And I'm actually going to take a swing on Capone here. I'll say Capone probably plus 225. Hopefully we see even a bigger number when those come out. But Alessandro Capone, the thing I really like about him, I like the way he brawls. This is clearly not a fight between like 2 super high level guys. You mentioned Day has been around forever and doesn't maybe have the most sterling record. Capone's actually kind of come around in his last few fights. Like to your mention, like maybe he didn't look so good early in his career, but like lately his record has kind of come around. And if I'm remembering correctly, and I'm making the intern pull it up as we speak, if I remember correctly, his last loss was to somebody fairly legit too. So, nope, must not have been him that I was thinking of. Now I'm looking at his record. Gioroladze is not so bad. But anyway, I like the way Capone brawls. I like the way he comes forward fearlessly. I like the way that he grinds in a fight. Technically, he's probably a touch worse than Day. But the thing I will say about Day that makes me want to try the dog side here is that, first of all, when somebody throws in bunches on him or throws a combination, he does a lot of covering up. He kind of just sticks in place and puts his hands up and waits for the combination to end. And against a guy who like wants to be in a brawl and wants to throw until he's tired, not particularly a great idea. And then the other piece I don't really like about him either is that like if you just wrestle him a little bit, he tires pretty quickly. I don't know that Capone will do that, but I think if he's the type of guy who's going to put a pace and going to try to brawl with him, you might see Day tire out there too. So even though I think Day is like technically better, I think the strategy and the gas tank of Capone here is probably going to help him out.
He's afraid to pick against Capone with that name of his. That's what it is, Gumby.
I used to pick against the actual mobster's grandson. Gotti. Yeah. Whatever happened to him? Is he still around?
We covered him a while ago, a few months back, I think. Yeah. I think so.
I don't remember that, but sure. Okay.
Yep. All right. Before we move on, I got to tell you about Rhythm. If you're betting on player props, then you need to download Rhythm. Rhythm is the go-to sports betting tool that transforms complex data into actionable insights. empowering bettors with smarter, data-driven decisions. Unlike other platforms, Rhythm combines advanced predictive analytics with an intuitive user experience, making betting both easy and enjoyable. Rhythm's predictive models were born from the brains of MIT data scientists and quants with over 3 years of data to help drive you to better AI-backed betting decisions. Rhythm productions have been red hot for WNBA and golf. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. That's the big thing. If you're not looking at it on YouTube, it's spelled RITHMM.
So the intern let me know that John Gotti III is now a boxer. He's left the world of MMA after his first loss. He was 5-0, lost in 2020 to Nick Alley, and hasn't fought since, and has had a bunch of boxing matches.
All right. Well, adios to you, because we don't cover boxing around these parts. All right, to the main event for the vacant AFC vacant light heavyweight championship. Paulin, Begai from France, Abdulrakhman Yakhyaev from Turkey. 5-minute rounds at 205 pounds. I'll tell you about Yakhyaev first. 4-0, 2 knockouts, 1 submission. This is his debut. He's not fought since January 23rd. Aries debut, excuse me. Has not fought since January 2023. Was regional champion, 5 years younger than Begai. Begai Le Chat is the nickname. Chaat. I looked it up. I don't think it means anything. At least not to us. He's 5-2 with 2 knockouts. Never been finished in a fight. 3-2 in Aries. He's won 3 straight fights. 3 inches taller than Yakhyaev.
So I'm going to say Yakhyaev is going to be a negative 225 favorite, right around there, low 200s. You get like plus 180, plus 190 on the return for Begai. And I'm going to go favorite here to end. Yakhyaev is infinitely better wrestler. And from what I saw from Begai, he's 6'5", which for some people in these larger weight classes, being tall and long and stuff like that is a benefit. In this one, I don't know that that's necessarily true for Begai because, his hands stay high. And as a result, he winds up being kind of easy to take down. He's not necessarily stiff-legged, but because his hands are so high, it's really hard for him to dig underhooks. Yakhyaev you said he's Turkish, right? Yeah. And he's like very clearly got a wrestling background, big, high double legs. Don't love necessarily his striking defense, but the other problem here with the guy is like some of his best strikes are kicks, and I've seen him caught. And that against a wrestler is kind of a nightmare. If you take that away from him, I think he's going to be even more limited on the feet. So I think Yakhyaev's going to be a big favorite here, but I still think we stick with him and we go with the Turk.
All right, let's go with the Turk, Yakhyaev. He's got him. He's got Capone. He's got Godogo. He's got Sabeev, and he's got Cleret. A lot of fun last names in this here episode. And we have no lightning round because we have no more fights. Even though it has gotten dark here and started raining, so you may get real lightning sooner rather than later. All right, thank you for sticking out the end of the episode. Hopefully it was enjoyable and informative. And as soon as the odds drop, you'll probably want to get in the Discord and chat with us about them. That's MMA gamblingpodcast.com sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. Sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. We are the MMA Gambling Podcast on YouTube. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed there. Even if you don't want to watch us, subscribing does help us out. Thank you for that. Twitter, SGPN MMA. Gumby Vreeland, Jeff Fox Writer. They're the handles. I'm Jeff Fox Writer on Instagram as well. Check out my Substack. I will be running my UFC Pick'em once the UFC is back next week. But in the meantime, I still have lots of content up there. It's moneymma.substack.com. Gumby has another podcast. Shockingly, was around before me, so I guess I'm the one he's cheating on his podcast with. It's called the Top Turtle MMA Podcast. And who is on it this week, Gumby?
Mansour Abdul Malik, who is main eventing the first week Contender Series, and then Jiu-Jitsu phenom Cody Steele, who has made his way to MMA, is 5-0 and will also be on Contender Series this fall.
Fantastic. So check out Top Turtle and make sure you go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. That's all the stuff you need to know. All right, we'll be back tomorrow. It'll be Il Capo, Jeff Fox, and the Dragon of Bosnia, Gumby Vreeland, and we will talk to you tomorrow about Fury FC. See ya.